This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, that one wasn't fun. Not fun at all. A poopy game for your Seattle Mariners because we don't like to swear on this channel here. Emerson Hancock goes 6 innings somehow, but gives up 5 runs. The bullpen was all right. It was good, fine. I would say more than anything else. Offense was non-existent today. Arozarena hits another home run and has a 2-hit day, but mainly the top of the lineup just is not doing their job right now. So my name's Anderson Hurst. That's Christopher Crawford right to my left. We are the hosts of the Locked On Mariners POSTCAST here on the Locked On Mariners YouTube channel. Thank you so much for hanging out with us right after every single Mariners game. Right after the final pitch, you can come hang with us like we're your buddies chatting about the game that we just watched at a bar. And man, do I wish I was at a bar for this one. I need some drinks. Chris Crawford, initial thoughts on the game 2 against Kansas City Royals.
I'm going to steal something that I saw from Blue Sky that today was the Golden Sum Dumpo. And I love you. And I'm wearing the shirt today. I've got this on and it may be my fault. Maybe next time I just got to wear a Bobby Witt shirt instead, but just not a very good effort. Just not a very good effort. I thought that all of the aspects that you can play a baseball game in, the pitching, the hitting, and the defense, all had some okay moments, but all had some really bad moments as well. And base running, a huge base running gaffe as well. This is a frustrating one. It's hard to get too mad after you've won 4 out of 5. It's tough to be like, this is going to be the loss that sends them into a spiral. But you should be beating the Kansas City Royals right now. And it puts pressure on you to win these next 2 because you need to win this series. You have to win series against teams like the Kansas City Royals. Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why, like, one game, fine, you win the first game of the series, you drop the second one. Normally, you're like, all right, fine, just go win the next one. But A, it's a 4-game series, and B, you got to win 3 of these 4, against Kansas City the way they're playing right now. So you're right, it does put pressure on you to win these next 2 games. It would be nice to win the first 2, so you only have to split the final 2, whatever. I kind of view things in a series-by-series basis. If you win most of your series, usually those teams go to the playoffs.
Right.
So I think that's just how I break it up. And as we do a daily kind of show, it tends up being the kind of the way we look at things. I mean, from top of the lineup, you have your 1 for 12.
Yeah.
With 1 RBI, 6 Ks.
6 strikeouts. Yeah.
It's just not good enough from your 1, 2, and 3 hitters. I mean, JP gets a hit. Julio was bad, both offensively and defensively tonight. And Cal Raleigh, first 4 strikeouts. Seems like it's forever since he's had like a truly nothing burger day offensively. But I think that's the main story from tonight.
Yeah, it's certainly part of it for sure. And, it doesn't help that Emerson Hancock was so lethargic at best over those first couple innings. At the very best, it was battled. We talked about
the bad battles.
The battle. Like it was, the fact he was able to get 6 innings for you was nice, but you got to be more effective than that. Only inning I would say he was truly effective in was either the 3rd or 4th. The rest of the time, it was just getting away with stuff and velocity way down. Velocity considerably down until kind of the middle innings. He started throwing more 95, 96. He doesn't have good enough command to get away with 93, 94. He just doesn't. And you've brought it up ad nauseum. If you aren't going to miss bats, you can't walk 3 people in 6 innings. You can't do it. You cannot have self-inflicted damage if you don't have swing and miss stuff. And Emerson Hancock does not have swing and miss stuff. There have been a couple of starts where there's been glimpses of it. The start against Boston, the start against the Guardians, and sure, one of those starts, our buddy Nathan joked, was played in, I forget, a tornado fire is what he ended up calling it, which I'm not taking that start. And I'm also not ignoring that he looked good against Minnesota. But Emerson Hancock, we see the floor is pretty darn low here, and the ceiling doesn't match up. Just before anyone gets it out of the way, Logan Evans has stunk in Tacoma as of late. He's not the answer right now. The answer is hoping Hancock is that guy and hoping you get Bryce Miller back at some point.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? But at some point, if there are more results like this for Hancock than the alternative, if he's more bad than good, you got to make it a move for a fifth starter.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to lean to was as we're starting with the start, I'm going to continue this theme. We start with what we talk about here. But yeah, I mean, he has a 3-to-1 walk to K ratio, not really strikeout to walk ratio, a walk to strikeout ratio of 3-to-1. That means he has 3 walks and only 1 strikeout. Over 6 innings of work, 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned. It's just, I get he's your 5th starter, and I get he wasn't supposed to be one of those 5 guys heading into this year. And anything you get out of him with all the injuries you have had, is positive, and you have gotten some good glimpses. You have gotten some good starts. I'm not putting all that away. But if Bryce Miller is not going to be healthy, I haven't heard anything, by the way, with him recently. I don't know what's going on there. He might not pitch again this year. There's a chance that he does not pitch again this year. So I am curious on what the outlook is moving forward with this pitching staff, because I've pointed this out recently. I know people kind of focus on the hitting because everyone just assumes the pitching is going to be fine.
Right.
The pitching is what this team is built off, right? You have to have, and especially starting pitching, you have to have elite starting pitching. Kirby's starting to come around. It's great to get Logan Gilbert back. Castillo has been consistent this year, and Brian Woo's been your best starter. So those 4 spots, I think, are good as of now, but that this 5th starter is going to be something that you have to fill the gap on.
So the latest update on Miller, by the way, there was an update very early this afternoon. I don't know if very early this afternoon is actually a phrase, but let's go with it. He resumed a light throwing program last week in Arizona, and the hope is that he can throw live BP in the middle of July. So if he can do that and then make a couple of rehab starts, you got a shot to have him back by August. But there's always the risk of regression. There's always the risk of setbacks. So far from a guarantee. But this start also is a nice reminder that even though Emerson Hancock has gotten the job done more often than not, if you take a look at this by start, Bryce Miller's ceiling destroys Emerson Hancock. And not having that version of Bryce Miller this year, who was one of the very best starters in baseball in the second half of last year, that's not even kind of hyperbole. He was flat out dominant over the second half of 2024. Not having that version of him has really hurt. And Emerson Hancock, I like having him in the organization, right? Thank goodness they didn't trade him, right? Because we're talking about Luis F. Castillo and Logan Evans maybe being ready for some of this, but not really. Oof. He's got to pitch better than he does tonight, though. That's for dang sure.
Yeah, I still can't believe he got through 6 innings. It's wild.
It's
based
crazy.
off how he looked in the beginning. But it was like one of those situations where, he needs to wear this because of how thin the bullpen is right now. But the bullpen comes in, looks fine. You get an inning out of Bizarro, who, again, it just seems like he's in every game nowadays.
Thoughts and prayers, man. Jeez,
Thoughts and prayers, indeed. And then you get the MLB debut of Juan Burgos, who goes 2 innings. Honestly, looked pretty good. Only 2 hits, 1 run, and it was earned. 1 walk and 2 Ks. We'll take that, especially in a game you're already down by 2 or 3 at that point, I should say. So, I mean, overall, the pitching, I want to get to the offense in a second, but overall, I'd say the pitching, besides Emerson Hancock, it's good to see more options become available in the bullpen that you feel confident in. At least that's how I feel with it.
Sure. I think that's fair. And all I'll say about Juan Burgos, I'll say 2 things. Number 1, congratulations on your MLB debut, and congrats on it not being a disaster. And number 2, let your soul glow. Let your soul glow with your Jerry curl, my man. It's great to see that alive in 2025.
Those of you who get that joke, well done. You guys are
Coming to America is such a good movie. Can we just talk about that instead of this stupid game?
I wish we could do that. Eddie Murphy's one of the most underrated comedic people of the last 25 years. So I'll just say
bad ones. Norbitz and those exist as well. But when he's at his peak, he is as good as it gets. Is Eddie Murphy the Julio Rodriguez an offense? Where great is great. That is not so good.
Let's talk some Julio, but after we talk about Monarch Money. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great.
Okay. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO. And for those who don't know, it's the Chief Financial Officer. I didn't actually know what that was. I had to look up all the CEOs recently. So, because I'm not ever going to hit that title in my life. So it's good to kind of actually know what that means. But giving you full visibility and control over your finances is basically what that CFO does.
Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investment, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. So Anders, the only reason I know what those CFO, CEO stuff is because I watch Succession, and every time I'm using the Monarch Money app, I feel like I'm in Succession. I feel like I am one of those people because I am saving money and I am saving time, and I know that's how people get rich, and Monarch Money helps me do that very, very well.
You, sir, are just not a serious person. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And, sometimes, you gain some money, but then you got to spend it a little bit. But then if you spend it in the right ways, like you will with FanDuel, you'll get some back in abundance. And summer sports are in full swing. And whether you're all about the baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high stakes soccer action, baby, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting.
You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Use FanDuel to track your favorite matchups. It's super easy to use. It's fast to pay out, and it makes even regular season games, the doldrums, feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're part of the action.
Yeah, when you say the doldrums, that's just it hits a little too close to home for today. But
sure.
Anyways, if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, let's talk about the offense. First of all, I'm just going to mention this off the bat. I don't want to go too deep into it, but JP's in a massive slump right now.
Yes, he is.
He's in a massive slump. I'm just going to ask you this. Is it time to start thinking about taking him off leadoff or not?
I think you probably got to give it through the break and see how it's going. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter what's going on there when you've got guys like Julio and Polanco and Raley being inconsistent offensive options. But it's not great that he's not getting on base at a very high clip right now. Like, he drives in the run. That ball was hit so softly. You saw JP Crawford wringing his hands, and not in the, oh boy, I'm so happy, in the, ow, that really hurt sort of way. He just hasn't been getting it done. And, it's also fair to say that nobody got the job done today outside of Randy Arozarena. And actually, Ben Williamson had a pretty good game. If you want to give my unsung hero, I really like the job Ben Williamson did defensively and the job that he did at the plate, getting on a couple of times. But there's a lot of people to blame here. The one thing I want to talk about for sure, though, is with Julio, because he cost you a run today. And it's not often we say this. And I saw some people saying in the comments about how his defense is overrated. No, it's not even close. But he FAFO'd today. He FAFO'd today and misread a ball as bad as I've ever seen. And it cost you a run. There were 2 plays today that cost you runs, and it's big because I believe they lose by 2 runs in this game. So not sure why the voice went so high, but I'll try not to do it.
They lost by 3.
No, they lost by 3. Thank goodness. It's fine. Never mind. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. No, Julio misreading that ball cost him a run. Now, that ball was smoked. It had an 810 expected batting average. So it's not like it was just some meager fly out. But you expect Julio to make that catch, right? You expect him to get that ball in so that you don't give up that second run. It was one of the worst games I've seen Julio Rodriguez play. He just missed a spectacular catch. That would have been one of my favorite non-homer catches of the year, but doesn't make the play. And when you don't have a good offensive day, you need to contribute with the glove more than Julio Rodriguez did. The other play, is, and look, Captain Hindsight for sure. Jorge Polanco getting picked off there was massive. What are we talking about if that's a 2-run homer there and it's 3-2? You're feeling so much better. You're not using Juan Burgos in the 9th inning. You are probably not using Hancock for another inning. Like, if it's still a 1-run game, you're probably saying we need to be a little bit more aggressive here and go to that bullpen. Yeah, you can't get picked off there, man. Here's the thing. I get frustrated when Julio gets picked off. I get frustrated when Victor Robles gets picked off. I get frustrated when Cole Young or Ben Williamson. Those guys can run. Jorge Polanco is station to station, dog. Like, you are not talking about a guy, take that lead, Randy Arozarena. If you get picked off there, it sucks. But
if you're being like over aggressive, but if you have a reason to be, there's no reason for Polanco to be over aggressive.
Zero reason for Polanco to do that, man. And it's really disappointing too, because he had a pretty good at bat to get on to first base. And it's so you're like, okay, you're getting back into this thing. You got your leadoff guy on. And then if you weren't paying attention, you say, Randy Arozarena, 2-run homer. We're right back into this. Yeah. But no, it's a solo homer because of a horrific mistake. You cannot do that. You cannot get picked off. So, yeah, they end up losing by a run. And I'll just say that run is because there's no reason not to pitch Juan Burgos for a 2nd inning. There's no reason for him not to let his soul glow. I'm going to bring it up every single time I see him. I'm sorry. It's just going to have to be done. It hurts you really bad today. It hurts you really, really bad. Julio's got to be better with the bat. There was one ball that was hit hard. Like, okay. And it should have been driven out to right field. Should have been a ball that he takes out to Apo Bapo. And he's just not doing it. He is not hitting for power. He's not getting on base this last couple of games. That's bad. So you've got to make up for it with your glove. And when you make mistakes, and we are a daily recap show, we've got to talk about that Julio Rodriguez hurt the Mariners immensely more than he helped them in at least this game.
Yeah, and it sucks that, we're starting to really get the Randy Arozarena that we have hoped for, that you've traded for.
We can't have nice things. This is the ultimate we can't have nice things franchise, right? There's never a time where everybody is playing well at the same time. And that's, if you want to point out that's baseball and true for a lot of teams.
It's roster construction. You don't have enough good players.
It's the thing. It's the thing. And there are massive offensive failures in this game. Donnie Barrels comes up with a huge situation.
Oh my God. Don't remind me. God, I forgot about it.
And Cole Young, who's been swinging the bat better, got a cookie cutter pitch and hits into a double play in a 2-run game. Massive plays. Huge. You've got to be better than this. You shouldn't give up 6 runs to the Kansas City Royals. You also shouldn't only be scoring 3 against Michael Lorenzen and letting that bullpen beat you. That's a good Kansas City bullpen, by the way. Like, a lot of people are finding out about Cruz right now and saying, oh my, because that stuff is electric.
I know a team that needs a lefty.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Like Daniel Lynch would look awfully good in this bullpen as well. Like go get a southpaw, man. You've got to go get some of these dudes. And as some people brought up pinch hitting for Raley there, I have no issue with it whatsoever. Luke Raley can't hit left-handed pitching. He's awful. Luke Raley and Dom Canzone are to hitting left-handed pitches as I am into eating disorders on the other side. And I can do that. I can make that joke myself. Okay. I'm allowed to make that joke.
They
can't do it. They can't. Yeah, exactly. That's self-deprecation is the nice way to say I hate myself. I get it that you get frustrated. And Luke Raley, is he a better baseball player than Dom Solano?
Yeah.
That's your butt. He is. But against left-handers, Luke Raley might as well be Luke Hokovar hitting. Like, you've got no shot. No shot. So that's not the issue. The issue is that Solano can't hit into can't ground into a double play in that. You got to drive that baseball, and he didn't do it.
So, first of all, you missed a huge opportunity for one of your catchphrases.
I know. I changed it. I got tired of saying it.
Come on, let's go, Chris. I'm expecting these.
I know. That
the consistency just isn't there, man.
10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bucket. I'm going to change it for you this time as well. I have zero creativity. I've got like 5 phrases that I like to say.
I like them though. They're great. I'm expecting them, and it makes me laugh every time. So I need them. I need them, especially after games like these.
Maybe I'll get a Locked On You Bet Your Sweet Bippy shirt made for
yes, that would be great.
So great.
Back to Julio for a sec. Just bigger picture here. He has a 713 OPS. Yep. Like he's dangerously close to getting the below 700 mark, which there's a couple numbers I'm looking at here. I'm not going to go full nerd on you guys, but I'm looking at his StatCast stuff. His ground ball rate has gone up significantly.
Yeah.
46 in 2022, 47, 2023, back down to 44 and 24, and he's up to 51 now, which is very high. And then when you look at the biggest thing for me is his pull fly ball percentage. Yeah. He was at 16.9, 22, 16.6, 23, 16.2, and 24. So pretty consistent. And it's down to 12.6 in 2025. There is a massive issue. I want to say massive issue. He's, still finds ways to contribute offensively.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if we're going to, if the Mariners are going to be a good offensive team, they need Julio to be what he has been. And he just isn't it right now. So is it something that gets fixed by having the All-Star break? Is it something that gets fixed by moving him down in the order? Is it something that gets fixed by what would you do in this situation?
So I'm not moving him down in the order, and that's more insult to the other guys that you could bring up than compliment to Julio, to be honest with you. The thing with Julio right now is he cannot get the timing right on inside pitches. It's too easy to jam him. And that shouldn't be. When you have the bat speed that Julio Rodriguez has, you shouldn't get jammed as often as he does. And it's another thing, too. I think he's still too concerned about strikeouts. Yeah. And I don't know who got in his head about that, but shame on them, because I will take Julio Rodriguez striking out 175 times a year if he's hitting 25 to 30 homers, or more importantly, because he's about on that pace for about 22, 23 homers, give or take. It's not horrible, but I need more doubles.
Yeah.
I need more doubles. I need more extra base hits. And you're not going to be able to do that if you can get jammed as easily as Julio Rodriguez can right now. Now, history suggests over the last 4 seasons that Julio comes on right about now. This is right about now when Julio Rodriguez figures it out. Would I bet on Julio doing it again? Probably. But that doesn't mean it's not an issue right now.
Yeah.
All we can do is judge right now. And as talented as Julio Rodriguez is, as bright of a future as he has, and even with the mistake tonight, as great as he is with the glove, great doesn't even begin to sell it. How
he's
good
a top 3 center fielder, borderline, maybe best.
I think
he was bad tonight.
He was bad tonight. He made a huge mistake, and that hurt the Seattle Mariners. But they need him to hit. They need the Julio Rodriguez. That's the 280, 340, 500 hitter that we have seen him be. Hell, we have seen him be much better than that in the past. But if they can get that version of Julio Rodriguez going, great. If they can't, I don't know what you do. I really don't know what you do, because you're not trading Julio Rodriguez. No. You're not going to hit him 9th, and nor should you, right? But at the same time, and I talked about this with Manny Acta when I was hosting for Ian Furness. He said these exact words: we go as Julio goes. And if Julio Rodriguez isn't that guy that we saw in the second half of 2023 and 2024, no matter how good Big Dumper was, and by the way, we just kind of blew off the fact that Big Dumper went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts today.
We called it the, golden.
Yeah, we did. We brought that up. We did bring that up. If it doesn't matter, because the Seattle Mariners are going to be as good as Julio Rodriguez is with the bat.
Is that fair?
No, it's not fair. And it's a failure on not Julio. It's a failure on roster construction that you didn't get enough bats to carry around this guy. Randy Arozarena is not that good of a hitter, right? He's a fine hitter. He's
above average. Player. Yeah.
He cannot be the guy, second best hitter in your lineup, right? Jorge Polanco can't be your second best hitter in the lineup. It looked for a while like he could be. He can't be. Anybody else there you see that could be your second best hitter? No. For a World Series contending team?
No, not that bats consistently. You're not betting on Luke Raley.
Nope.
You're not betting on Dom Canzone. Yep. I get Cole Young as a bright future,
Sure.
but he's not that guy now.
Nope.
Him and Ben Williamson are obvious 8 and 9 hitters, like as obvious as it gets.
And honestly, this is where I and the Mariners would vehemently disagree with me. This is where I'm looking at Lazaro Montes, and I'm looking at whether or not that guy
Upside, man.
The upside is so good. It's so good. And you look at what he's doing in Double-A, look at what he is doing in a park that is not conducive to power whatsoever, in a league that is not conducive to power whatsoever. It doesn't matter because that dude has 80 grade pop.
Yeah.
Baby Jordan is a nickname for a reason. It's not just because he's built like an edge rusher. It's because that dude's bat speed and power is special.
Yeah.
I would be willing to take the risk of giving Jordan Alvarez, or I would trade Jordan Alvarez.
Basically.
I would take the risk of giving Lazaro Montes a shot. If he keeps this up in Double-A for another week or so, you have to seriously consider having Lazaro Montes help the Seattle Mariners in 2025.
How about just getting a better MLB team first?
Sure.
Like, go and make a couple trades, man.
Right.
There's tons of guys out there.
Right. But at the same time, you can do both. You can do both because you're never trading Lazaro Montes.
No, you're not. I'm not saying to do that, by the way.
No, I know you're not. But what I'm saying is you're not trading Lazaro Montes to go get the upgrade at third base or the upgrade at second base, right? You can have Lazaro Montes be your designated hitter. See if that power is real. And the worst thing that happens is, he's not ready. We send him back down to Double-A. There's no harm in it. There's zero harm in it whatsoever. The Mariners don't want to start his clock yet. Let's just be honest here. They don't want to start that clock yet. It's disappointing. But I keep watching Lazaro Montes hit, and I keep thinking that guy has a chance to be an answer for the Seattle Mariners. That guy has a chance to be the Evan Carter that the Texas Rangers helped win in the World Series. That guy has a chance to be very different player.
But like that much of an impact late in the season. Yes,
exactly. We've seen it. We have seen rookies come up from go way back and think about the job Miguel Cabrera did for the Miami Marlins.
Oh, it's great. There's
point. No reason why you can't. Somebody brought up Matt Olson. Go do it.
Yeah.
Go get Matt Olson and also play Lazaro Montes. There's no reason.
And get Eugenio Suarez. Like,
get Austin Riley. Go get somebody. Just do something.
Yeah.
But you have to make moves. You watch this offense right now, and the ceiling is pretty good. The floor is dreadful. It is a dreadfully low floor. I think it's the lowest floor of any offense in the American League.
Wow.
Yep.
Lower than the Royals.
Yep. Because they've got Bobby Witt Jr. And they've got a Salvador Perez who's going to start hitting. By the way, he crushed the Mariners today. Yeah. Crushed them. And some of this, too, was ascension for an offense that has talented players. They were due for a decent offensive game. It's not an excuse. It's just the way baseball works, right? Yeah. We see this. Go get better. Go get better. Today is a perfect example of why you got to get better.
Yeah, and, maybe this would work a little bit better if your pitching could carry you more, but it, like we saw today, it can't. Nope. It just can't this year. This isn't the rotation, like fair or not. This isn't the rotation of 24. This isn't the rotation of 23 or 22 either. It's just not. Nope. So you're going to either need to go get a starter that puts that ceiling for the pitching staff even higher so you can carry an offense like this, or make the offense better, or both. Let's be honest, both isn't happening. But I would love to see something soon. We're going a little bit bigger picture here, but this is all in relation to what we just witnessed, and a good example that the Mariners are not a completed product right now, and they need to be soon if they are going to compete this year. Any last words before we get out of here? Another 6:40 start tomorrow. We'll be with you in the Mariners postcast. Chris Crawford?
I'd go Coming to America, Bowfinger, probably Trading Places 3, but that's a pretty good top 3.
Yeah, that's a great top. I would go Trading Places 2, but that's just me.
Okay, but as long as you're a Bowfinger stan, man, like that is one of the most underrated comedies of all time. I think I'll watch all 3 tonight instead of thinking about this stupid baseball team.